We had an incredible time on our watch party on Thursday night, and we're going to do it again next Saturday when your Seattle Seahawks take on the Dallas Cowboys. It is guaranteed to be a good time. If you enjoyed what we brought you on Thursday, you ain't seen nothing yet. And we're trying to get to 39,000 subscribers before then. We're 25 away. Subscribe now. Join us on Saturday night. You'll be glad you did, and we'll get started with today's show. Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with 5 takeaways from the Seahawks win over the Vikings on Thursday night. Let's begin with Boye Mafe, and to put it simply, he isn't scared. This guy is all that in a bag of chips. And we heard from Pete Carroll going into Thursday night that Boye Mafe looked like the most improved player on this Seahawks team entering 2023. And we saw what Pete Carroll was talking about. Had an impressive night with 3 tackles, 1 quarterback hit, and just his presence just everywhere on that football field. You couldn't miss Boye Mafe as he was everywhere. And it's an interesting competition when you look at where things are at for this Seahawks team at the outside linebacker spot. The unofficial depth chart that was released before Thursday's game had him as the starting outside linebacker on the opposite side of Uchenna Nwosu, ahead of Darrell Taylor. And the assumption was that Darrell Taylor was the favorite to be the other outside linebacker, coming off a season where he had 9+ sacks. But Boye Mafe, I think, is capable of doing that same number, if not more, than what Darrell Taylor did last year when it comes to the sacks and the quarterback pressures. But we also saw from Boye Mafe on Thursday, and I think what you'll continue to see, which will be a difference that'll separate him compared to Darrell Taylor, is his ability as a run defender, a run stopper. He's a good all-around outside linebacker. Darrell Taylor, beyond just being a good pass rusher, there's a lot of holes in his game. So Boye Mafe, a more complete player. I liked what I saw from Derek Hall as well. That outside linebacker group's got a lot of depth as far as I'm concerned. What about Boye Mafe, our pin comment today? Do you think he should start at outside linebacker for Seattle? If you think he should, type Y for yes. If not, type in for no. Weigh in. Tell us what you think in the comment section. Our pin comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Let us know. Y for yes, in for no, if Mafe should start an outside linebacker or not. Number 2 on our takeaways, that is Coby Bryant, bringing his versatility. And when the depth chart was released, I think people were kind of surprised to see how much the Seahawks were committed to playing Coby Bryant at the safety position. In practice, going into the week, we had heard about Coby Bryant getting some time at the safety spot with some of the injuries that had occurred. And when you look at this Seahawks team, we know how loaded they are at the cornerback position, right? When you talk about not just Devin Witherspoon, the number 5 overall pick, and Mike Jackson and Tariq Woolen and going on down the line here, you want to get playing time for everybody, especially with the way Trey Brown's been playing as well. And so Coby Bryant, they threw him at the safety spot where there is a need right now with no Jamal Adams, no Joey Blunt, and he excelled. And we saw the big hit that he had when he delivered the blow, maybe the highlight of the night for what he was able to put together there. So Coby Bryant, I like the versatility and what he can bring to the football field, being able to play multiple positions. Coby Bryant is going to have a role on this defense one way or the other, whether it's at safety, whether it's corner, whatever it may be. Coby Bryant, I have a lot of confidence in, and you should see a lot of him coming up in 2023 as far as I'm concerned. Number 3 on our preseason takeaways is Jaxon Smith-Njigba showing flashes, right? JSN, when he was on the football field, he looked like the best player out there. And this Seahawks team, remember, they didn't play the starters on Thursday night. Jaxon Smith-Njigba, who came into Thursday night's game 4th on the unofficial depth chart, although we expect him to be the number 3 receiver when it's all said and done, this was his coming out party, his debut. And he lived up to the hype. He was able to get open so easily. He made things look effortlessly. 3 catches, 25 yards with a 15-yard long. I liked what JSN brought to the table there. And when you look at this Seahawks offense, who did we compare JSN to a lot going into this draft? We talked about a lot. The comparison that he got was Jarvis Landry. What does Jarvis Landry do so well? he finds ways to get open. Maybe it's not always the 40 or 50-yard bomb, but getting open in space to get that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-yard gain of sorts. And that's what Jaxon was able to do, just constantly finding ways to get open. He impressed me in that sense, and you're going to see a lot of excitement from Jaxon, and he'll be a nice option for Geno Smith as far as I'm concerned. So what's your biggest takeaway from Seattle's first preseason game? I've given you a few. There's plenty of others, and we got more to get to here in just a second. But your chance to weigh in, tell me what your biggest takeaway was from the Seahawks' performance as they begin the 2023 preseason 1-0. Number 4 on our preseason takeaways, undrafted free agent out of UCLA, Jake Bobo. This guy is not messing around by any means. Jake Bobo making a strong case to make the 53-man roster. 3 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown in a 29-yard long. Jake Bobo was fantastic. And Jake Bobo, this is a guy that we knew when the Seahawks brought him in. Sure, he's not the fastest in the world, but he does a good job of getting open, and he's got very good hands, and that was on full display. And the size advantage that he brings to the table as well at 6'4", 206, Jake Bobo was fantastic. And when you talk about D. Eskridge with his future uncertain, and with some of the other factors involved here, K. Johnson, the uncertainty there, and the other things that are stacking up, Jake Bobo had an opportunity to prove why he deserves one of those spots, and he did everything he needed to do. You couldn't have asked for any more from Jake Bobo in this first preseason performance as far as I'm concerned. Now, you look at the next couple of games, you still have more preseason performances to go. Jake Bobo's got to continue, got to pick up from where he left off. But I'm looking at Jake Bobo, and if he continues to do what he did, if he's not messing around, if he's on the right track and makes these statement performances, then they'll find a way to keep him not just on the practice squad, but make that 53-man roster. He's helping his cause there. Last on my takeaways. Now, if you weren't watching, if you went to bed by the time the fourth quarter rolled around, you missed out on Holton Ahlers, the undrafted free agent out of East Carolina. And I don't know if Holton Ahlers is going to make the roster ultimately one way or the other, because doesn't seem like the Seahawks are likely to carry 2 quarterbacks unless they do decide to go with the emergency option based on the new NFL rule. But one thing I noticed from Holton Ahlers, not only was he really good, 4 for 4, 43 yards, 1 touchdown, and really good in the run game, 6 carries and 26 yards. But we saw the zone read element from Holton Ahlers, where he was very explosive and he made very good decisions of when to hand it off and when to choose what lanes to go. And it added a whole nother dynamic, a whole nother element to the Seahawks offense that we haven't really seen that much of previously. Whether Holton Ahlers makes this roster or not, one thing I'm intrigued to see with this Seahawks team, are we going to see more of the zone read? Are we going to see Geno Smith running some zone read plays potentially? Is that going to be mixed in more in the offense? Because when Holton Ahlers came in, they really brought it up, and it worked very well. So I'm intrigued. Holton Ahlers got my attention. He did everything he needed to do. He was really good. But what about Geno? Could we potentially see some of that zone read action? Because it was very successful. I liked it. Hopefully there's more to come as far as mixing up that offense goes and keeping the defense on their toes with some of the zone read, more of that quarterback keeper stuff. I thought it was very interesting. We'll see if Geno Smith could potentially get involved in that. What's your confidence level in the Seahawks right now? They did get off to a slow start on Thursday night, but this team finished really well. It made good adjustments as the game went along. A lot of bright spots as far as this Seahawks team goes. Reason to be optimistic about where this team is headed as far as 2023 goes. I came away feeling very good. I'm feeling very confident about this Seahawks team heading into 2023. What's your confidence level at? Tell us in the comment section. Scale it for me 1 through 10 where your confidence at this point in time in Seattle. Hit me up on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. More Seahawks coverage continues on all of those social media platforms. You can follow me there, and I shall see you next time right here on Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Thanks for joining us.